Hello, PDHP parents and community. I'm Carrie Ann Fitzgerald from the Program for the Development of Human Potential. And today I am considering the time of year it is. We usually wouldn't have that much going on by PDHP standards because the focus was always on graduation. Last night would have been graduations, today, tomorrow. Step-ups would be happening around now for the little ones, for middle schoolers perhaps, and our high school graduates are probably off and running at this point. So I do want to think about Family Fun Night on this Friday in terms of graduates. What are some things that you're doing to celebrate this milestone, especially when the usual go-tos are not available to us? I am seeing on social media so many creative things that schools are doing, replicating their own traditions, maybe hearing that last school bell, doing clap outs, doing little parades and drive-bys and signs and things of that nature in a socially distanced forum. Some community members stepping up in different organizations, adding to everyone's excitement for this special time in our graduates' lives. So I hope that you are finding things to do, and I know that, this weekend we would have had some graduation parties, friends of family, as well as nieces and nephews, and unfortunately we are unable to do those. But think of things that you can do as your family fun Friday to celebrate the graduates, even to celebrate maybe the passing of the school year. These can be replicated to that. So let's start by thinking about our graduates' favorite foods, whether it's takeout if you're comfortable with that, or it's something that you enjoy making at home, your child's favorite dinner or favorite lunch, favorite snack, doing things like that. One of our school guidance counselors had suggested doing an ice cream social at some point. So thinking about getting a whole bunch of different ice creams and different toppings and building your own sundae. That's always fun. Who doesn't love ice cream? Ice cream is so festive. Trying different types, creating maybe a dessert together, even if it's making a plain cupcake and then having the ability to decorate it. Throw in some school colors, right? So celebrating, of course, with food, we all come together for that commonality to share a meal together. And then thinking about photos of your graduate or the kids during this time. If maybe you're heralding just the school year, think about some of the highlights of that fourth grade year or that second grade year or whatever it is. You could easily hang those pictures around the room. You can maybe use some ribbon or some twine and kind of tape it to the wall on kind of this clothesline, if you will. Even if you don't have clothespins, you can tape them, or you can use your paper clips to hold them up, and that becomes a little more festive. And if you have graduates going from maybe, pre-K3 all the way up to now, that time that they spent in the school building. If you're talking about high school, a picture from each high school year, each college year, things like that. And that helps to decorate and kind of helps us to go back to those things. And talking about those pictures, well, what do you remember from that year? What stands out to you? And it'd be interesting to hear everyone's perspective of that year. What stands out from the graduate themselves to the other family members in the household. And that could be used, as I said, as a decoration for your festive event. Then there are some things that we can do. We have this activity, and a lot of times I would use it as an 8th grade teacher just in that idea of transition and kind of retreat on what would be happening, closing the 8th grade year, closing that senior year and preparing for what's next. So just that idea of looking back a little bit, kind of like our family fun nights and our parent teen nights would involve some kind of art, usually towards the end. You could take maybe a roll of white paper, craft paper, even the back of a roll of wrapping paper and lay that out on the ground or lay that out on the table if it's long enough. Grab some markers, grab some crayons, hand it out to everyone, and let them create the village, as we call it in PDHP, the village. Who were the people? What were the things? What were the places that were paramount to this time in your life? Okay. So that's always interesting to see when I do it with a class, so it'd be interesting as well to see it from a family's perspective, a household's perspective, a graduate's perspective. Who were those people that were so important? What were those things that you recall and remember? And put it up to celebrate, during this time as well. A lot of times we would gift that to the school as a little legacy, little reminder of who we are, what we experienced during this time in this place. A lot of times the principals would use that perhaps in a graduation liturgy as well. And then another thing that we can do beyond the village and the pictures and the favorite foods is you can write some letters. So letter writing is really important. It's something that you can hold on to so easily. It's tangible. It's an old art. A lot of times we would do letter writings with our parents, to the students, to the graduates, or even if, there was another special occasion like ring day or confirmation going on in that grade, we would have the parents write letters of support, considering what their wishes were for their children. And they would write these letters to the kids, and the kids would have time to quietly study these letters and consider them and maybe even write back. Another thing that could be done with letter writing is writing a letter to yourself. How you feel at this moment, how that graduate feels, what they're looking forward to. Like I've said before, it is an exciting time, but sometimes that excitement is also wrought in stress, little fear of what's coming next, a little grief of leaving a place that they've been so long. So some of those thoughts, even sometimes a letter to yourself and who you're going to be next year or the year after, or at graduation from high school or 5 years from now, writing a letter to yourself, what would be your wishes for yourself at that time. And finally, a lot of times we do a what's stuck at the end of our family fun nights. I would do this kind of to close a lesson in my classroom, but I also would apply that in our family fun nights, our parent teen nights, as well as just our parent workshops that we would get together to do. And what I would do is put a big piece of white paper up, grab sticky Post-it notes or sticky notes, markers, and it could be one word, it could be an activity, it could be a feeling, it could be a remembrance, and you put it up on that paper. And it's something that you leave up and you consider. So you could do something like that. Well, what stuck with you from your time in elementary school? What stuck with us from this time of graduation? Whatever it is, maybe it's thoughts and well wishes going forward. That could even be something that you can leave out for your neighbors to do, whether in your hallway and on your door, so all the neighbors in the building get a chance to participate, of course socially distant, or on the block. All that well-wishing at small cost as well. And a way to make it really festive and really memorable. And finally, as we close this graduation edition of Family Fun Friday, whenever you do it this week or this weekend, I ask you, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, and regardless of where your children are, grade-wise, whether they're graduates or not, leave your one word. What's your one word? What's your one wish, perhaps, that you would like to share with the class of 2020? Be it a child who's stepping up from pre-K or kindergarten, or into middle school, or graduating 8th grade or high school or college, maybe even their master's degree. We've got some people out there doing that, woohoo. What is that one word, that one wish that you have for them? Please feel free to share underneath and post those comments, because at some point some of those parents who have those graduates get to see it, and wow, what a community of people who are wishing these things for you actively without even maybe personally knowing you. Let that good stuff vibrate out there in the world, okay? I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you are all safe and well, and I will see you for our Mindful Monday. Have a very happy Friday, family fun, get some of that in there, enjoy the nice weather, and congratulations again to all our graduates and their families.